Happy Wednesday, winners. It's August the 5th, 2026. It's your Kingdom Entrepreneurial Coach, Coach K. And now that we done got the kids back to school, can we talk about the fact that it's Black Business Month? I want to talk to all of us, though. I want to talk to faith-based businesses, want to talk to small businesses, want to talk to independent professionals, where the church is with the entrepreneurial ministries. Let's talk about and to the business owners who survived COVID but still don't really understand why the phone not ringing like it used to. Talking about the algorithm don't love you like it used to. Wait a minute, it's a machine. We're gonna talk about that. The differences between human customer buying habits and machine driven ones. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about the business owner who knows their service is excellent, knows the community trusts them, knows they got 10, 15, 20, 30 years experience. But the new digital marketplace doesn't seem to know they exist. Hey y'all, the game has changed. And with a new game comes new rules. In order for my champions to bring home the chip, we got to understand, study, apply, and master the new rules. You can be excellent at the old game, still lose in the new one because nobody ever explained the new rules. Hey, it's the coach. Welcome to the Kingdom Classroom. Let's break down the rules. But before we get to that, I want to first educate you on why we refer to this movement as the Digital Resurrection of Progress Plaza. See, you can't get where we're going if we don't know where we come from. And so by the end of this divine impartation, information that's going to bless your business life for the rest of your business life, I want you to understand three things. What the original Progress Plaza was. Make sure you understand how my spiritual father, Reverend Dr. Leon Howard Sullivan, used select patronage, 1036 plan, and Progress Plaza to build our entrepreneurial and economic self-sufficiency. I want you to understand how Urban Success University is being used by God to translate those principles into the AI-driven economy via the Kingdom Marketplace, the Digital Resurrection of Progress Plaza. You know, we're not here to just celebrate history. We got to use it. Sullivan is not ML. We don't quote Sullivan. We build like him. You know, this Black Business Month is not just about posting another Black Business Month flyer. This month, we're creating sales, contracts, referrals, jobs, business ownership, education, and positively perpetuated income for our Black business community and those within it. I know the inspiration is good, but inspiration without implementation leaves you inspired and broke. So let's break this thing all the way down, shall we? But because before we can really talk about Progress Plaza, I got to make sure you know what Progress Plaza was. Before we talk about a digital resurrection, you got to understand the original version. Progress Plaza was not just a shopping center. Wasn't just some collection of stores. It wasn't built so Black people could say, look, y'all, we got a building. Progress Plaza represented a complete economic development system. Sully, the Lion of Zion, before God gave you this one, Leon Howard Sullivan, for the record. He understood something that too many people today refuse to understand. You can't permanently preach people out of poverty without building economic entrepreneurial infrastructure around them. Can't tell people to have faith while ignoring the fact that they need jobs. Can't tell entrepreneurs to believe in themselves when they got no customers, no capital, no technical assistance, and no place to sell their products and services. Can't build a strong community when every dollar that enters the community immediately leaves. Sullivan looked at the black community and identified 4 major needs. We need employment, we need training, we need business ownership, and we need organized patronage. Progress Plaza brought those 4 needs together, created a space for commerce, it created employment, created management opportunities, and at the core, created entrepreneurial training. Created a place where black consumers could intentionally support black businesses connected to their community. Broke ground in 1967. Became widely recognized as the nation's first black-owned developed shopping center in American history. Project grew from the broader progress movement of Sullivan, organized through Zion Baptist Church of Philadelphia, to West Africa, South Africa, North Africa, East Africa, and everywhere in between. Pretty much took over the world. But you need to understand, we all need to be reminded that Progress Plaza didn't begin because some wealthy investor wrote a big check. It began as a community movement. Began with ordinary people doing something small, consistently, and collectively. That was the 1036 plan. 1036 plan was simple enough for regular people to understand. Sully initially asked 50 members of the Zion Baptist Church congregation to contribute $10 for 36 months. Now everybody understand why it was called the 1036 plan. Consistent participation, collective capital. Now Sully asked 50 people, but 200 responded the following Sunday. Movement eventually grew to over 3,000 shareholders. Those contributions helped establish an economic foundation that could purchase property, support development, and build assets our community could own. Stop right there. Right there. Because that's the part a lot of folk miss. The genius wasn't the number 10. The genius wasn't the 36. The genius was the principle. A large number of people making manageable, consistent contributions can create capital none of them could possess individually. Collective economics at its finest. One person's $10 couldn't build a shopping center, but hundreds and eventually thousands of people participating consistently created leverage. That leverage purchased property. That property attracted financing. That financing built businesses. Those businesses provided jobs. Those jobs created income. That income supported families. Those families patronized those businesses. Those businesses reinvested in that community. That became the ecosystem. The 1036 plan was the capital engine. Progress Plaza, the ownership asset. Entrepreneurial training was the development engine, and select patronage was the circulation engine. Sullivan didn't tell black people to work harder. He connected the pieces required for the hard work to produce ownership. That's what Daddy King talk about. Own it, own it. You gotta own it. Own your own car, own your own house. We gotta get back to owning our own lives, our own economy, our own ecosystem. Gotta promote owning our own businesses. 1960, Sullivan organized about 403, really good number, black ministers in Philadelphia around what he called select patronage. Real simple slogan, went global, don't buy where we don't work. Strategy confronted companies at their core. They were happy to accept the black dollar, but they had refused to employ, promote, or treat black people fairly. The ministers organized their congregations. They identified specific businesses, same way we have. They presented reasonable employment demands. The companies refused, and the community withheld economic support from the companies that didn't pay for the work of our people. What's up, Willie Watkins, Kenley Waller, Wheels and Tire by Bailey, Community Grounds by FCS Ministries? How y'all doing? You still ain't paid our daughters for the diamonds you burned them on, huh? Just making sure our community know. Between 1960 and 1963, that individual strategy buckled 29 companies. They hired, promoted black workers, created approximately 2,000 skilled employment opportunities. Sully had to open up an old jail, turn it into OIC, in order to provide the skills for the youth to get the jobs he created for them. Now listen to me carefully. People oftentimes reduce select patronage to a boycott. A boycott only describes withdrawal. Select patronage provided a strategy. Withdrawing our economic support from them don't build our economy. Select patronage ain't simply don't spend over there. It's also, the rest of the question. Well, because if we don't spend over there, where are we going to spend at? Because we still need what we need. A boycott just says stop supporting them. Select patronage requires us to identify, strengthen, and intentionally support the businesses and institutions that are hiring, training, contracting, and investing inside of our communities. That's a major difference. Told you, withdrawing money without redirecting it doesn't build anything. A boycott doesn't build black businesses, doesn't produce jobs, doesn't train young people, doesn't circulate our dollar, doesn't create more business ownership in our community. Select patronage does. Because select patronage is an organized economic decision-making strategy. We examine where our money goes. We examine who benefits from it. We examine who hires our community. We examine who contracts with the businesses in our community. We examine who reinvest in the neighborhoods in our community. And we intentionally redirect our patronage toward them, toward the people, toward the institutions, helping to build the community that's generating the revenue they benefiting from. And we shop with us. 1962, October to be exact, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. brought Leon Howard Sullivan to the ATL to meet with local ministers and teach them how to replicate the Philadelphia model. That's when the work most people have heard of, called Operation Breadbasket, was developed. Intended to use the organizing strength of the black church and the economic influence of black consumers to create jobs and business opportunities. That's the historic foundation that needs to be corrected. Listen, to get where we're going, we got to know where we came from. The church organized people. The people pulled resources. The businesses received patronage. The workers received jobs. The entrepreneurs received training. The community created assets. Now, let's fast forward the videotape, because that was the 1960s. Business was brick and mortar. That's what Mama and them used to call the good old days. Y'all remember the good old days? I know. All this technological, man, I feel like Mama and them, I remember the good old days. Y'all remember how the old business game was? All you had to do was open a business, rent it or purchase the business location, put a sign outside, printed some flyers, passed out a couple business cards, joined the Chamber of Commerce, joined the Business Association, purchased an advertisement in the newspaper. Good googly move. Supported the church anniversary, got listed in the church directory, made sure that the pastor, the barber, the hairstylist, and the funeral director, and all the neighborhood leaders knew who you were and what service and product you provided. People drove past the storefront. Some people walked past the door. Somebody in the church congregation referred somebody. The community knew you. That was the brick and mortar marketplace. The good old days. Hey, listen, your physical door mattered. Your location mattered. Your reputation mattered. Your community relationships mattered. The paper directory mattered. Chamber of Commerce, breakfast and lunch meeting. What? It mattered. That networking breakfast. It mattered. The old model worked back then. Then COVID hit. Good googly move. Business went from brick and mortar to click and order. Seemed like overnight, right? You had to click the order, click the pay, click the schedule, click the deliver, click the compare, click the read reviews, click the decide, click for the win. The money moved. Census Bureau said retail e-commerce shot up 40 some odd percent during 2020. 2019, we spent 570 some odd billion online. 2020, 815, a lot of money moving in these digital streets. That wasn't a temporary spike neither. It taught us a new consumer behavior. Every business owner, you got to pay attention to them consumer behaviors. People who had never ordered groceries online started ordering groceries online. People who never use online scheduling start scheduling online. People who never paid through a digital link start paying through a digital link. People used to drive around looking for a business start looking for them on their phones. businesses were thrust into the digital marketplace, whether they were ready or not, prepared or not, trained or not. And suddenly something became crystal clear. See, back then, your front door mattered. Now you realize you got a digital front door, and it's just as important as the physical front door. Maybe even more important. Because before somebody visits your physical location, they're probably going to examine your digital presence. Before they call, they search. Before they purchase, they compare. Before they trust, they investigate. Before they refer you, they want a little something they can send. Before they drive to your location, they online checking your hours. Before they walk through your front door, they checking out your digital front door. And too many of our businesses never completed the transition from brick and mortar to click and order. You've been subtly nudged along. November 2021, November 5th to be exact, you remember? Google announced Google My Business was becoming Google Business Profiles. For many small businesses, they like that little app. All of a sudden, it was moved directly into Google Search and Google Maps. Number one, number two determinants of ranking went from AdWord, keyword, to relevance and prominence. Number three is distance. That's a shift. Google shifted to making the Google business profile more central, more visible, and more directly connected to search and maps. Why? Because of the three determinants: relevance, distance, and prominence. Relevance describes how well your business matches what the customer's searching for. Distance, how close your business is located to the connected search. Talk about prominence, because it means how well known, established your business appears to be, including signals like your links, your reviews, and public information. Whoa, hit the brakes. Hold on. That means it's no longer enough to purchase an ad around the keyword. The system has to understand what your business actually does. Has to understand where you are. Has to understand who you serve. Has to see some evidence to determine that you're established and trustworthy. Game changer. We talked about the old game. Because many of our elder businesses spent 10, 15, 20, 30 years establishing that trust, credibility, and relationships inside the community, where people know them, where the church know them, where the neighborhood know them, where customers know them, but where the machine may not know them. Their trust exists offline, their credibility offline, their history offline, their relationships offline. The problem is that nobody told them to, nor taught them how to organize all of that history and translate it into clear, consistent digital information the machine can understand. Community knows you excellent. The machine wants to understand why. That's the beginning of what we're going to talk about and tag as the next digital divide. I don't want to get ahead of myself. November 2021, Google My Business, Google Business Profile. Fast forward the videotape. How many of y'all remember January 2025? How can you forget? Donald Trump returned to the White House with Elon Musk. Good googly good Google. All you can do is scratch your head. Yet and still. Government systems, major corporations, the broader economy began openly discussing automation, artificial intelligence, workforce reduction, and the implementation of new digital systems. Did you miss July 2025? Donald Trump announced AI is officially the center of the U.S. economy. Big deal. White House released the American AI Action Plan. You gotta be a real nerd to get excited about this. It identified more than 90 federal policy actions built around three pillars: accelerating AI innovation, building American AI infrastructure, and strengthening American leadership in the national, international, and international AI policy and security realm. Now, listen to me. I don't care how you feel about Donald Trump. I don't care whether you like him. I don't care whether you voted for Donald Trump. I don't care whether you agree with Donald Trump. This ain't a political endorsement. It's a business analysis. Facts is, he controls the most powerful desk in the world. And when that desk declares artificial intelligence is a foundational part of our economic growth, global competitiveness, and national infrastructure, the small business community cannot treat AI like a friggin' toy. And we got to look at those who profess to be in leadership and advocacy for the small business community that ain't been breaking none of this down for 5 years. I apologize. I just got past my non-disclosure and non-competes. Listen, y'all. AI is not just something you use to make a cartoon. It's not just something your children use to complete their homework. It's not something you use to write an email campaign or a cute caption. It's literally a major part of the infrastructure through which information is processed, work is completed, and from all my entrepreneurs, where customers make decisions and where your businesses are discovered. Let me move us along this timeline. Ain't nobody really talked about these things, but you got to understand the severity and of how they impact your business life. And bottom line, May 19th, 2026, the fundamental internet reset. Google describes it as the biggest upgrade in its search box in the past 25 years or more. Wait a minute. So it's the biggest thing since Y2K? Wow. Introduced AI powered search box. Expanded conversational search. Introduced AI agents that search across information, monitor changes, and help users take action. It describes a new system where people can ask longer, more specific questions instead of reducing everything to a few keywords. Hit the brakes. We got to pause for a minute. We got to check Mr. Google, man. Hold on, Mr. Google. Ain't you the 800-pound gorilla of information dissemination? You literally like the King Kong of this whole information jungle. You the trendsetter. Like you done went from being a noun to a verb. I might date myself, but we used to go online and look something up on Google. Now we just been subconsciously programmed to Google it. You literally trained us to type little keywords in a box. Then you gave us some links. Then we clicked the links. Then we visited some websites. And we tried to figure out which result could solve our problem. Now you changing the game, huh? Interesting. Now you putting reasoning in the conversation. Synthesis and agents directly in the search experience. Whoa! This is the biggest fundamental shift in the internet in the past 25 years. Google, Mr. Google Man, you just literally slick told us you phasing out from being a search engine on the low, but just not overnight. You still returning links. Our websites still matter. A little bit of SEO still matter. But you just told us you're phasing out of traditional search and moving into artificial intelligence. You just morphed the language. You talking slick. Talking about you in essence have merged, combined these things with traditional search. But functionally, you're getting away from these list of links. You're moving into the recommendation, research, and action layer, huh? You're going to help customers formulate better questions, huh? Going to help them maintain the context of the conversation, huh? Going to synthesize the information, huh? Going to monitor the changes, huh? In essence, you're saying you're going to help somebody find, compare, contact, and book local services, huh? My man, you just said you're going to become the gatekeeper of the coin in the community. Because people do business with who they know, like, and trust, but you just shifted the whole way that we meet each other. Because if somebody hadn't done everything they need to do to be recommendation ready by you, then they'll never be introduced. My boy, that real slick. You have in essence said that you are morphing into the recommendation space. You becoming just like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity. So the game changer, huh? Big business on the move, huh? And nobody taking the time to do what I'm doing, breaking it down so that our neighborhood business can understand what they're doing behind the scenes. But we seeing it in our everyday lives. We just hadn't been able to connect the dots. Think about it though. People are no longer asking for a commercial cleaner in Atlanta. Now they asking which commercial cleaning company in Atlanta serves property managers with several locations, offers reoccurring janitorial contracts, and handles office turnarounds. They're not just asking for a leadership consultant. They're asking who's an experienced Black organization development consultant in Atlanta who can help grow a nonprofit, strengthen its executive leadership and workplace culture. They're not asking for a faith-based business coach. They're asking who can help a small church build a youth entrepreneurship program using AI and digital marketing. Those are not just keyword searches. their complete recommendation requests. And AI has to understand the problem. AI has to understand the customer. It has to understand the category. It has to understand the geography. Has to understand the specialization. Has to understand why one service provider, one business, one ministry, one nonprofit may be more relevant to that specific situation than another. And that brings us full circle to the biggest question facing black businesses, faith-based businesses, and small businesses that nobody's asking you, that you need to be asked. Can AI understand enough about your business to recommend you? That's the question. Today, August 5th, 2026. That's the question that the winners got to answer. That's the question that gives you competitive edge in the marketplace. That's the question that collects the coin. That's the question that gets you the bag. Because if AI is making the recommendation decisions when your potential customers are deciding who's going to get the coin, does AI understand enough about you and your business to redirect the coin to you? That's the question. Listen, don't fall banana in the tailpipe. The question is not, can you use AI to make a flyer? It's not, can you use AI to write an email? It's not, can you use AI for a social media caption? It's not, can you use AI to produce a pretty picture? Those things can help, but those things don't produce sales automatically. The question that every business owner has to ask themselves, the ones that are serious about this coin out here in these digital AI-powered streets, is, does artificial intelligence know enough about your business to understand it when you should be the right answer? Does it know who you are? Does it know what you provide? Does it know whom you serve? Does it know the problem you solve? Does it understand how you do what you do the way you do it? Does it know what makes your approach different? Does it know your primary category? Does it know your specialty or your niche? Does it know your location? Does it know your service area? Does it know whether you work with consumers, businesses, governments, churches, or nonprofits? Does it understand your experience? Does it see evidence of your trust? Does it know the particular situation in which somebody should contact or refer you? That's the new business test. Between the losers and the winners. What up, winners? It's Winning Wednesday. Hey, it's the coach. I'm trying to prepare you to bring the chip home. The question is not, can somebody find your business name online? The question is, does the digital marketplace understand enough about your business to know when you're the right answer to be recommended? Have you put your language in the AI language? Because you know it's different, right? Let me unpack that one for you. See, you say we provide excellent service. Okay. You say we family owned. All right now. You say we a kingdom business. Praise God. Say we care about people. That's wonderful. Say we've been serving the community for 15, 20, 30 years. That's meaningful to a human being. But the machine still got some questions. What service do you actually provide? Who's the service for? What exact problem does it solve? What geographic area do you serve? Do you serve residential or commercial clients? Do you provide one-time projects or recurring contracts? Are you a coach, a consultant, a trainer, or an implementation provider? Do you work with beginners or established businesses? Do you serve families, individuals, churches, corporations, government agencies? You said you do business with excellence, but what does excellent mean in practice? What makes you different from another company using the same words? Why should this system, Claude, ChatGPT, recommend you? See, the machines, they need clarity. Clarity is credibility. And in the marketplace, you can't have your stuff all scattered around because digital confusion becomes economic exclusion. Somebody tweet that. X that. Facebook that. IG that. Digital confusion becomes